Do you think there's some value to that there should be further, I guess, conviction or comfort coming through from institutions that this is all going to turn out okay?
Very hard to say from my point of view. Clearly, a transition period until the end of 2020 would make a whole lot of sense. Nobody is interested to run any project into the ground and even increase efficiency. From our central bank point of view, what we would like to have is as smooth a transition as possible and as smooth a Brexit as possible. Nevertheless, the negotiators have agreed, but not necessarily the agreement has been reached on the Article 50 deal, so we don't really know what will be the solution for the Northern Irish border. We have not yet seen an indication what actually will be the payment from the United Kingdom to the EU. So every transition is subject to agreeing all these issues, and that will likely only happen in October of this year, so we have some time to go to be able to answer all of this with certainty. I personally would hope that we will have some sort of a transition period until the end of 2020 and then have enough time to see negotiations progress.
Are you optimistic at this point that this can happen with minimal disruptions, or do you think, as I think you've said in the past, that corporations, that companies really need to prepare for a worst-case scenario?
It doesn't really matter whether I'm optimistic or not. In the central banking world, you're normally paid to be careful and not necessarily pessimistic, but to worry about risks. Now, the way I would like to look at this is that you hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And there is quite some likelihood that if you want to, as a bank, apply for a license, you need to do so probably at the latest by the middle of this year. That means that banks will have to decide under uncertainty because, as I mentioned earlier, we may only be able to see clearer sides of where we are going by October. So banks nobody likes, and especially banks don't like to decide under uncertainty, but there is a likelihood.